If you wish, there is a famous medieval religious painting mystery that requires your best research skills to solve. This remarkable artwork has been admired by millions of viewers over centuries, though the artist remains unidentified. However, as well known as the painting named Little Garden of Paradise has become, there is only an alias to identify the artist. This extraordinary painting, which is among the top religious masterpieces of the Middle Ages, deserves the real artist's name to be discovered. So, we will provide all of the relevant information our research found to help identify this person. Then, it is up to the art detective in you to try and solve this art mystery, one of the greatest identity secrets from the Middle Ages creative world. Medieval art in Europe developed from Christian religious imagery combined with regional artistic styles to create a new, distinct style of painting. During the tumultuous Middle Ages, religion played an important role in many vital artworks, along with deep symbolism that held important messages for both contemporary painters and artists. Captivating symbolic colors were made from earth pigments bound by substances such as egg yolk to develop art which separated itself from formal religious paintings in past periods. There was a bold attempt with late Gothic art, especially in Northern Europe, to portray human forms and scenes in a more natural way. Now we shall learn more about this famous painting created by the Upper Rhenish master. The Paradiesgartlein, or Little Garden of Paradise, is currently located at Stadel Art Museum in Frankfurt, Germany, on permanent loan from the Historical Museum in Frankfurt, Germany. This splendid mixed-technique oak wood panel painting measures 26.3 centimeters by 33.4 centimeters. It is an exceptional example of a late Gothic German painting. The Little Garden of Paradise is emotionally styled and inspired by devotion, with religious figures and nature brought together in a pleasurable scene. This tranquil setting of safety and happiness is assumed to have been created by the Upper Rhenish master between approximately 1410 to 1420 AD. The pleasure of calming gardens is increasingly noted after the beginning of the 13th century. This appreciation developed from the practicality of monastic herb gardens and the peaceful bounty they provided. Of course, in the Middle Ages, gardens were also symbols of paradise when we consider the Garden of Eden. Here, the eternal paradise garden is depicted within a medieval castle's walled surroundings to symbolize protection of the virginity of Mary. Various researchers mention this as the sacred Hortus Conclusus, closed garden, which is a reference to Mary's virginity. The Christian theme includes a seated Virgin Mary reading a book and the Christ child, along with several saints, enjoying their time in the secluded garden. In this painting, figures like Saint Dorothy, who is picking cherries as a sign of purity and eternal life, are presented. Also, Saint Barbara is portrayed taking water from a well, and Archangel Michael has a grotesque small demon displayed at his feet to remind us of human shortcomings. Observing further, we witness Jesus playing a psaltery with the patron saint of music, Saint Cecilia. During this period, music was perceived to be spiritual joy. The Little Garden of Paradise represents a mythological, devotional scene, inviting the viewer's gaze ever closer to these skillful, symbolic depictions. The pleasurable scene of escapism is far removed from realities of 15th century Europe, with its violent conflicts, everyday harsh realities, and lurking danger. This is a devotional scene which combines religious imagery with secular themes like nature, pleasure, and virtue. As background scenes of nature become more recognized in late Gothic paintings, the Upper Rhenish master elevated this theme with beautiful harmony in this painting. There is a masterful use of shading and angles to create perspective, along with an appreciation of space to create harmonious, symbolic themes which are very attractive. Here is a peaceful scene of symbolism many contemporary viewers at that time could understand. With the incorporation of nature, 24 distinct plant species and 12 bird species show the interaction of nature and religion in surroundings of serene beauty. Through the use of nature, more contemporary symbolism is also provided. For example, in Germany at that time, primroses were thought to be the key to heaven. White lilies symbolized the Virgin Mary's purity, and the tree stump in the foreground was meant to show how evil cuts down the spirituality of humanity. The Little Garden of Paradise displays a masterful use of visual communication for a largely illiterate population, which is breathtaking in its execution. The Little Garden of Paradise remains a work of both awe and mystery. Today, this painting is considered a valuable example of late Gothic art. Now that we have learned important information concerning this famous painting by the Upper Rhenish master, let us present the very limited information available on this mystery artist. They are an unknown, deeply symbolic painter who is thought to have been practicing in the Strasbourg area of France from 1410 to 1430 AD. Their style does remind one of the Flemish school of painting, traditionally known as Flemish primitives. This similarity is drawn from the use of symbolism to convey hidden messages and religious imagery that most astute viewers from that period would recognize and appreciate. However, one recognizes the Flemish primitives period is assumed to have begun in the 1420s at the earliest, and the Little Garden of Paradise was created in 1410 to 1420 at the latest. This would suggest the Flemish primitive artists were influenced somewhat by styles from the late Gothic painting miniatures, like Little Garden of Paradise. Therefore, it may be possible that Flemish primitive skills, like Jan van Eyck's use of oils, may have been learned from observation of, or a mentor like, the Upper Rhenish master, working with oil in their panel paintings. In addition to the Little Garden of Paradise, there are two other recognized oil paintings by the mysterious Upper Rhenish master that may provide further clues to their identity. These paintings are named Nativity of the Virgin and the Death of Saint Joseph. Both are the property of the City Hospital of Strasbourg in France. Since 1936, the Musée du Louvre Notre Dame in Strasbourg has displayed these paintings. Recently, both paintings were thought to have been created around 1430 AD. They are assumed to have been parts of a larger altarpiece from a former city hospital place of worship named the Convent of St. Mark. In the Death of St. Joseph painting, once again we see various instances of religious symbolism and the theme of Virgin Mary. Medieval to Modern will add even more clues which may help identify the Upper Rhenish master. Since these paintings were purchased by the City Hospital of Strasbourg, which is still in existence, it may be worth a visit to their records department. Therefore, one would try to find any transactional documentation or written information related to this painting, including commission contracts or purchase agreements. Next, it is almost certain the Upper Rhenish master was part of a professional guild to take on important clients during this period. Since this artist is called the Upper Rhenish master, one would presume they were a master painter. This is an important assumption because in large parts of 15th century Europe, only a few master painters were allowed to operate within any city's boundaries. Additionally, these master painters were regulated through professional artisan guilds and had to comply with discrete rules according to their type of art. Panel painters were at the creative top in many artisan guilds and had the highest standards to follow. Artisan guilds were highly exclusive, so the prestige of such a position would imply the Upper Rhenish master was not an obscure painter with little recognition. Therefore, one would assume a master painter's real name would have been provided to maintain the guild's strict system of regulation. Proof of citizenship was also required in many guilds before acceptance. Here is another important piece of information because this artist is thought to have been German. Public and civic records in Strasbourg and surrounding cities could be examined to provide a list of possible candidates operating in the region between 1410 to 1430 AD. Additionally, records of artisan guilds in the same region could be searched from the same time period to generate even more possibilities to identify the Upper Rhenish master. Another avenue to pursue fresh knowledge would be the tax records of Strasbourg and nearby places of commerce between 1410 to 1430 AD. Again, since these were official businesses obtaining fees for their commissioned artwork, taxes would have been levied by local authorities. With access to the tax records of this period, occupations would have been listed, as well as places of business. If the Upper Rhenish master was successful enough to have been a property owner, real names and occupations may be shown in these records. During research, one may find clues by searching information on the Flemish primitive school of painters to see if any mention of a mentor or a teacher from the Strasbourg region is given. From the time estimated for the creation of Little Garden of Paradise to the current estimated time of creation in 1430 for the Death of Saint Joseph and the Nativity of the Virgin is 20 years. Surely there is information still waiting to be uncovered to help identify the Upper Rhenish master. Discovering the true identity of the Upper Rhenish master would be an event widely recognized and celebrated. It would be valuable information in the art world that would help further knowledge of the medieval arts period for all to learn and enjoy. We hope this episode attracts both professional and amateur researchers to help try and solve this mystery. Perhaps you too could help. Thank you for supporting us at Medieval to Modern. Please be sure to watch our next episode, or one shown at the end of this video. Also be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and spread the word about this channel so we can create more exciting content. I wish you good tidings as we remember that sharing knowledge has been a noble deed throughout the ages.